and welcome to Pass the Mic. Today I have two amazing people joining me, and I've known them for a very long time. I believe I knew you guys before they hitched the knot, hitched the kitch. Two amazing people that give back to this world in such an incredible way through their music, through their time, through their divine energy. I want you to say hello, world, to Andrea Lane and Billy. Say hello, everybody.
Hello. Thank you so much for having us, Gino.
Hello, Gino.
Hi, Billy, with a Y.
With a Y.
I love that. So, what's our song today?
It's called Miracle. I wrote it a couple of years ago, and it's one of my favorite songs.
Is it on iTunes?
It is on iTunes.
I'm going to have the link below so that you can go and support her, because artists out here, independent artists that are doing their thing, that are giving back to the world, we've got to support them. So here we go. Okay. I'm following you.
Okay.
What if every moment was a miracle? Every single moment. Ooh. What a beautiful thought to start the week off. For you to think, what if every moment was a miracle? How do you come up with that?
Well, you know what? First of all, I'm tripping because I have just sung with the famous Gino. I do have to say, it's been, something I've wanted to do, and just that right there was a miracle. Okay. But
I didn't pay her, but I would have.
That song really, I was inspired by Einstein, obviously, who said, you can either live every moment as if everything's a miracle or everything sucked. You know what I mean? I forget the exact quote. Everything is a miracle.
Don't look at me.
Okay.
It's your song.
I just remembered when you said that that quote is related to Einstein.
Oh, I know. Or nothing was a miracle. That's what it was.
Look at that.
But also, one time I saw Faith Rivera sing a song about miracles, and so both of those inspired me to write that song. But bigger than that is, I would like to live my life that way, and I not all the time, but but it's an intention that I have.
And what a beautiful intention it is. The ups and downs, the turns, ins and outs, the woes, the ha, all of that to me does make the miracle, and it makes for appreciation. Mm-hmm. So I think that's powerful. Andrea was given a name by someone that most of you know out there. I think he's going by Dr. Michael Beckwith now. He dropped that reverend. A rock star for God. A rock star for God. How do you like those apples? Billy, how did you like meeting a rock star for God?
Well, I started out as a fan. I saw her at Redondo, Center for Spiritual Living.
Okay.
Back when it was Church of Religious Science.
Yeah.
And that was one of the reasons I went there, because they were rocking out. They had people like her, Harold Payne, Ed Montreux, and people like you. And I said, this is a really cool place. And I didn't stalk her, but I liked her music. And I finally talked to her one time, and she completely blew me off. And
ouch!
But there's a long story behind that, and here we are. So it all worked out.
Hang in there. Now, the two of you travel together, tour together, correct?
Right.
How far have you traveled as spiritual artists, as a rock star for God? Where do you go? Where are some of the places you go?
Well, the farthest we've been is Canada.
Yeah.
And we've been to Seattle. We go to Kentucky.
We just got back from Kentucky.
From Kentucky.
Down there.
Nice.
We do a lot in California.
One of the blessings of living in California is that there are a lot of spiritual centers, CSL, Unity churches. You do Unity as well?
Right.
And now, I think I heard you talking about yoga.
Yeah.
Do you? Were you just talking about it? Or
Well, you know, yoga really saved my life a couple years ago. I was having a lot of anxiety and just couldn't cope, you know. And I started doing yoga, and I'm like, wow, wait a minute. This goes perfectly with my spiritual path, and I feel better, you know, I'm relaxed. And then I started doing more and more, and now I'm teaching it. So, but it kind of, I'm really sharing my spiritual aspect through the yoga with the yoga, because it's another avenue for me to assist people in getting on that path.
Absolutely. Now, Billy, I know that you play an instrument. You play guitar?
Right.
How long have you been playing guitar?
Well, I started out as a bass player back in the 70s.
Oh.
Played places up in Hollywood, did a whole bunch of stuff.
Okay.
And then...
What kind of groups?
Rock and roll. Full on.
But of course.
Kind of stuff. And that band broke up, and I just was screwing around on acoustic just to keep my chops up, and I was writing songs and doing stuff. And then when I met her, she said, you better start practicing if you're going to play for me.
Oh.
So I've just been working on it a lot more.
Now,
gets a little better.
How is it having a relationship, working together? How does that work for you two?
Like pulling teeth.
My teeth are right here. I still got my teeth.
And they're beautiful.
Well, I mean, you know, it's fun and it's challenging because, you know, we're creative types.
Right.
I think it should go like this, you know, but in the end, the most important thing to me is our relationship and the message that comes across. And even though we'll say a little bit, it always works out.
Seems like the songs come out better. You know?
So, Billy, you say the songs come out better?
It seems like in the long run, yeah. I mean, but sometimes it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
You know, because we're two creative people. We have ways we want to do stuff. I'm a 70s, 80s rock and roller, The Who, Led Zeppelin, all that. She's a punk rocker from Gen X, basically. And to meld that together, we're rockers, but still, she writes lyrics, I write music. It's kind of getting that sometimes is a real challenge, but it seems like when the songs come out, they end up pretty good.
Well, you have how many CDs now?
Oh, I have 5. But Billy and I have one together.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
And he's very organized and you know, structured.
Am I hearing that maybe?
I'm very much in the moment, in the flow. I don't know. And so I really need that from him to help me stay structured.
Yeah. I mean, you know, creativity and when we are in that world, everybody does it differently. I'm not as organized, and so it's great to have someone that can ground you so that it allows you really to clear up a lot of things so that you can focus. So thank you, Billy. Thank you for that. That's really awesome. And to you out there, thank you.
Right. All you who are like me, I hear you.
What do you mean I need to do that right now? So do you actually have a format? Do you go like, okay, we're going to write on Tuesday, we're going to write on Wednesday, or you just be like, you know, I was humming this, and what do you hear?
Well, it's all different. A lot of times during the day, I'll be on the piano writing.
Oh, I don't know. Do you play the piano?
I mean, I play the guitar.
You snuck that in there, right?
I play the guitar much better than I play the piano.
Okay, I didn't know. I don't think I've seen you play it.
That's because I don't practice like I should. And that's why when I met him, I said, "Yeah, you start practicing."
She sings.
I sing
like
and vocalize so long that by the time I'm okay, now it's time. So, but anyway, I'll be on the piano, and sometimes during the day I'll come up with lyrics. Or he will come up with some riff that I like.
Okay.
And we have rehearsal almost every night.
Oh.
Almost every night. And then we'll come together and say, how about this? How about this? You know. But we've been so busy lately, we haven't had time to write new songs.
That's awesome, though. That's really awesome. When I came up, I heard the guitar playing and Andrea was singing. They got a microphone in the living room. They're ready. You guys are like full on ready to record. I was like, hey! So now, well, let me ask you. We met at Agape.
Mm-hmm.
That's where we met.
Mm-hmm.
Was Agape, had you been looking for a place like Agape? For those of you who don't know, it's a metaphysical spiritual teaching under the founder, Dr. Michael Beckwith. Did you take classes?
Yeah, I took some classes there, and at that time when I first started Agape, I was really in a rock band. And
Okay.
like singing about woe is me, you know. And then as I sat there in service, the years started to go by, and I'm like, I want to sing more positive. You know, I want to bring more light to the world. So I wrote a song specifically for Agape.
Really?
Yeah, and then I auditioned for Ricky about 1 million times, and finally she was like, okay, you're up. I don't give up. I don't give up.
I love that. Did you hear that? Say that to the camera.
I do not give up. You shouldn't either.
Did you ever sing in the choir, or are you just solo artist at Agape?
No, I've always been a solo artist.
Okay.
I love the choir.
Yeah.
And I would like to sing with them at some point, but I was always... No, you sang with the choir.
I did sing with the choir. That was the only way I was going to be able to get a lead.
I don't know about that.
You know, you do what you got to do. Billy, did you ever sing with the choir? Or?
No, I'm from Redondo. Like, I'm a practitioner with the
okay.
Centers for Spiritual Living, and that was my home church for a long time, and that's when we met. But now I feel more at home at Agape.
Okay.
And I'm out at Camarillo now.
Oh, really?
As far as that's where my practitioner-ship is.
Okay. Who's the minister there now?
Reverend Grace. Well, Grace
Kristen
Lovejoy and
Kristen.
Kristen Gephardt.
Okay. Hey, Reverend Grace. I love you.
Kristen.
Love you.
Yeah.
Christian, I think I know her, but I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah, so that's what I never sang in the choir. I never did anything like that. I sang by myself in the bathroom and stuff, you know. But I do have a couple songs, and we actually do one of my songs, and so I'm branching out.
And people love that
And
song.
people love my song.
Look at that. Look at that. I tried to get him to sing for the opening of the show. He wanted to have closed mouth. So at the end of the show,
I was lip syncing.
We sing it again. You're singing with us, Billy.
You gotta sing my song.
We'll sing your song.
It's the only one I can sing.
At least the two of you will know it. I'll fumble in there. I'll fumble. So, well, let me ask you. We're in this state right now where the world, to me, is really changing. What do you see your role is for being a part of that change?
I'm saying, oh, wow. There's been so much going on in the world that as a sensitive person,
Yes.
and I don't always have thick skin. Like, I know we need thick skin as artists, but sometimes I just look at the world and I'm like, what's happening? But I really have been strengthening myself and knowing that part of my purpose and my calling is to bring in more love, more joy, more positivity, more unity. Because, you know, there seems like people are being divided right now. So we need to step up more, you know, into what we're doing to assist that unification, or at least the awareness of the unification. We're all unified. We're all one. Yeah. But I don't know that everyone realizes that, and people feel separate a lot. So, you know, through music, through my lyrics, my songs, and the yoga, I'm on the path.
I love it. I love it. Billy, what about you?
I'm canvassing for Bernie.
I saw the signs out front.
I got the signs. I'm a Bernie guy. It's really hard because I struggle with what 45 is doing.
Yes.
And I want to stay positive, and so in my mind, I'm rolling around, and I love the Abraham quote. It's like, focus on what you want, not why you want it.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And so I try as hard as I can to not focus on what's going wrong, but what would I like to have happen. You know, if I see people being divided, you know, and what I really want is unification. What I really want is people to be together. What I really want is for people to love each other and see that connection and hug each other and do all that. So what can I do to help that happen,
Okay.
rather than fight against people that are trying to divide us?
Okay.
And for me, I'm a martial artist from way back.
Oh, really?
I've got a 2nd degree in Aikido, and I do jiu-jitsu, and I'm a fighter. Which gets, but my natural tendency is to attack sometimes. Okay. It really is, you know. I'm a guy, that's the way I am. And I really have to rein that in. Sometimes you need to do that. I mean, sometimes you have to be aggressive, but sometimes you need to rein that in, because that will take you down a path that you really don't want to go.
Absolutely.
And you don't know that until you're at the end of the path, and you go, God, I shouldn't have. I couldn't go. You know, so it's kind of like, if I can catch that ahead of time, and I'm doing way better in this round of presidential elections than I did last time.
Beautiful.
To focus on what I want and how to move us forward into that kind of a thing, into being together and loving each other and making the world better, you know, for everyone, rather than fighting against the stuff that I see that is wrong.
That's really powerful. I think this time is very crucial, because I think that consciousness is really changing. And I think we have an opportunity to see what hasn't been working. And so all of that chaos is coming up. And so for me, it's like, ooh, we're getting a chance to see it, because there have been people that have had blinders on that thought, oh, no, we're all good. But there's so many things that we need to heal. So I think this is the time for healing. So I find myself standing in a space of joy as much as possible, and looking out there, knowing that 45, Trump, the cabinet, everybody, that they're part of the shift. They're all a part of it.
Right.
You know, and it's like, oh, I get to be a part of this too, because of the fact that I think we're moving to a whole nother level in consciousness that we've never touched before. Right. We've never lived that way before. At least that's where I be in my world.
right.
That's keeping our fingers crossed.
That's where I'm in my world. That, wow, we are really creating something new, something different. And so with music opens the heart space. It truly does. I believe that music opens the heart space. You find when you travel around, do you feel the hunger from people to just sop up the feel good?
I find that people they're hungry for the feel good, but more than that, I feel like it's bigger than just one religion.
Oh, absolutely.
Like people are really hungering for just breaking out of religion and realizing we're all one.
Yeah.
We're all connected. It's just about love.
Yeah.
There's no it's just love. I feel like people are wanting to bust forward, but that's my feeling.
Well, I think those are the things that move us forward. That it is individually, but it is collective. That I think people that have been sitting in meditation, that have been oming, that have decided to make some different choices, that consciousness, we are part of that consciousness, that we're at the right place at the right time right now. This, to me, this is our time. This is our time to tip the scales, to let people know that you don't have to be afraid of this new awareness, this new way of living. Because we tend to focus on what happened in the past. And in the teaching, we know when you focus on the past,
you get more of the past.
Yeah. And we see it big time. And, you know, people, go ahead, Billy.
No, I was just, it's funny because I lived through the 60s.
Okay.
And the music drove it. It really did. And people are still listening to that music.
Absolutely.
Because it was so powerful. It was so real. And I think we went through a real period of where everybody just wanted to lay low for a long time. We had disco, we had a whole bunch of stuff that people didn't. And right now we're at a spot where people are engaged.
Yeah.
People are passionate. And the music is starting to reflect that. And music is one of those things, the arts are those things that reflect that. The passion of the people. And sometimes it takes things like what's happening now to create the passion. When things are just kind of rolling along and, oh, it's all great, people just lower down and play disco. You know? When people are dying and things are really heavy, people get more feeling in them and it comes out and that connects. Even this weekend we were playing and people were going, I loved that song. It made me feel this. I did. It's
what song was that?
Mask. It was one of her originals, and this time, which is one of our originals.
Beautiful.
But it just made people. They came up. A whole bunch of people did. Said it just moved me, you know, and that's what you want. I mean, that's what music is about. To move people to that place where they want to feel loved. They want to feel connected. They want to be a better person. They want to, you know.
Yeah.
Move up, you know?
I think we all are really good people. I think that. I believe that all of us are really good at the core. We have different journeys that create different opportunities to move consciousness forward, to learn different things and how we can be. Speaking of the 60s and the music of the 60s, because, you know, everybody is still using that music. Yeah. What are 3 of your favorite tunes from the 60s?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, you go.
What's the one we do?
60s, 70s.
Boots.
Boots.
These boots are made for walking.
No,
all right, one for Nancy Sinatra.
Won't Get Fooled Again.
Won't Get Fooled.
By The Who.
Oh, okay.
You don't think about New Thought.
Okay.
You know. What's
Well, no, I'm not talking about New Thought. I'm talking about the music.
No, that's the music. Yeah. All the Neil Young stuff. You know, Needle in the Damage Done.
Okay.
The Stones. Anything off of Beggar's Banquet. You know.
Well, a lot of that stuff was very controversial.
It's very controversial at the time. Anything by the Youngbloods. Everything spoke so much of, because people were dying, you know, people were getting drafted, and we saw body bags on the news every night. And all of a sudden at about 1967 that turned and people started writing songs, anything by Bob Dylan, which was reflecting that back at us.
Right.
And it came, you know, off of Elvis, and everything was fun and everything was great, and it changed. It's stuff that when you hear the lyric, it's kind of, what if you knew her and saw her dead on the ground? Yeah. You know?
I see that emotion.
It's a, whoa, you know, it's like that moves you. Yeah. It moves you to a space where I got to stand up. You know, I got to do something. It's not. I can't just sit in my chair and watch this all the time. And I think, music does that more than anything, because you hear one note and you know that song. Yes. Yes. You know that song, and you're back at that place. Yeah. And whether that was when you had your greatest love, or when you got your heart broken, or when something really horrible or great happened, you know you're right back there, and nothing does that like music. And that's the magic of it, really.
It truly is. Well said. I find, what about you, Andrea? 70s?
Well, I really like John Lennon. I mean, I liked Imagine. I think that was from the 70s. I really liked him. Yeah. So, yeah. And I like Neil Young, too.
Music is very powerful. I have found that a lot of the R&B artists, that it's so easy to transition their songs in a spiritual realm. Mm-hmm. Because the essence and the energy. I was an Earth, Wind, and Fire
And you do it so well.
And they were so mystical, so spiritual. And so, you know, the groups that you're talking about, there was heart and there was passion. And I believe that we are there again. There are different ways and different voices that are expressing that. And for some, it's a little too abrupt. Some, it's a little too negative. But in all of this mix, there's something for everyone. And so when I see the two of you out there on the road doing that thing, going around to people, sharing your gift, inspiring people to remember that you matter, I just think that's very powerful. And that is the gift that we give back to this world. So 2020 is coming.
Yes. Vote.
Yeah.
All right. Billy, that's his word. Vote. Vote. What would you like to say to the world?
Well, and Billy kind of touched on it. My song Mask.
Yes.
It talks about taking off your mask. Be your authentic self. Be your authentic self. There's only one you. And only you can do that and express and share what you came here to do. So stop pretending like we somebody, you know, just be yourself.
I love that. I think that is very powerful and it is truthful, because when you be you, you allow others to stand in that light and be themselves. So we're going to close out with song. And we're going to have some links below so that we can have your music connected below, and you guys can go on. Please go to iTunes, Spotify, Rhapsody, wherever, and support our artists. Support that which is driving this consciousness for us to wake up and enjoy each other more, love each other more, and be a part of this world. So, which song are we doing?
Don't give in, let the love rise up.
Don't give in,
let the love rise up.
Don't
Give in,
let the love rise up.
Don't give in,
Let the love rise up.
Rolling up there just the other day, on the wrong side, that's all I got to say. The neighbors were partying all night long.
A dog I don't know
just messed up my lawn. I learned on the road, the driver's a jerk.
I can't even tell you what it's like at work. Come on.
I come on home, I
turn
turn
on
on
the
the tube.
tube.
It's murder and mayhem when they call it the news. But I won't give in to the
Let
hate.
the love rise
I
up.
won't give in to the
Let
hate.
the love rise
I
up.
won't give in to the
Let
hate.
the love rise
I
up.
won't give in to the
Let
hate.
the love rise up.
let the love rise up. Remember, we are one. We hold a vision. We are creating our here and now. Just you and me.
Let the love rise up.
Just you and me. I'll see you next week on Pass the Mic. And remember, we now have PayPal on Pass the Mic. If this channel inspires you, if it makes you laugh, if it makes you cry, if it gives you new ideas, you can support us through PayPal. We have much appreciation for each and every one of you. I'll see you next week on Pass the Mic.